Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. The Trump administration has moved in, and George Soros is panicking. And before we get into this story about a major arrest and the shocking details about it, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, George Soros has been in the headlines lately, and that's because of a Capital Research report that ties him to funding radical terrorist and extremist organizations that have carried out political violence in the United States. According to Capital Research Center, 54 groups have benefited from Soros funding. And there is now, as we know, a U.S. Attorney's Office investigation into George Soros and his funding of extremist groups. That came out of Todd Blanche's office. He's a Deputy Attorney General. And 12 high-profile prosecutors are on the case. They're looking into Soros' funding of terrorism and extremism in this country. And we have an indictment, it looks like, that is coming for one of Soros' right-hand men. And this individual did some truly shocking things. He was recently arrested for, let's be honest here, he just apparently tortured women using BDSM and a lot of heinous tactics to just really break them down and make them miserable and torment them. And this guy is really a piece of work according to the charging documents. Of course, he's innocent until proven guilty, but it looks pretty bad for him because they have text messages. This would be Howard Rubin. He was 70 years old and he was busted by the feds at his Fairfield, Connecticut home on Friday morning, and he is being brought up on sex trafficking charges for allegedly luring dozens of women to New York City between 2009 and 2019. And it looks like he restrained, beat, and electrocuted them, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. He was the famed former money manager for Soros. He was known as Howie, or Big H, and worth at least tens of millions of dollars. And it appeared that he reveled in stomach-turning encounters, as we saw with text messages with his personal assistant, Jennifer Powers, who's also faced in kind of a Ghislaine Maxwell-like situation with sex trafficking charges in the scheme. And Rubin, well, I don't know if he's a chip off the old block, but he has appeared to engage in some pretty disgusting activities with former Playboy models and other women who are down on their luck, and it's really disturbing to hear. So I will have to hedge and paraphrase this a little bit. So in one horrifying exchange in 2015, he allegedly told Powers about a woman tied up to a cross and said, "I can only imagine what you did to her. Did you shock her?" And he said yes, and was smugly laughing about it, and admitted that he had used an electrocution instrument on her sensitive parts. And this is the kind of disgusting people that are tied to Soros and his nihilistic, radical, extremist movement. And of course, should we be surprised at all about anyone tied to George Soros? Because he has put prosecutors in districts across the United States that have led to people being victimized, harmed, murdered, robbed. We have repeat felons going back on the streets because of cashless bail and other soft on crime policies. So one of his money men going down for sex trafficking, I mean, let me think about this for a minute. Wasn't Trump supposedly like such a pal of Jeffrey Epstein? Then why did Epstein get prosecuted on his watch? Why did Ghislaine Maxwell get prosecuted on his watch? Why is this guy Howard Rubin, who is a money man for Soros, getting prosecuted on his watch? Doesn't make any sense. It's all lies. There's nothing substantiated about that. And if anything, Trump seems to have been moving a lot more aggressively to take on these high-profile trafficking cases. And let's hope he keeps it up, because these women, they need to be protected. There needs to be justice in these cases. They need to face extremely severe penalties for this type of behavior. And weigh in with your own thoughts. What do you think about this? Is Soros next? Because look, 12 high-profile Justice Department lawyers are working on the Soros case right now. We're looking at potential criminal conspiracy, racketeering, as RICO charges against this guy to attack the United States, and he's put a lot of people at risk if you just follow the money. And you look at these extremist groups, I mean, 54 of them, really, that either support or have had material support for political violence. This needs to stop. We need safety, security, and justice in America, and let's hope the Trump administration gets that. Weigh in with your thoughts. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.